Coming up on Mountain News this morning, volunteers in Asheville are detailing how unbelievable the damage left by Helene is. And it's important to know what's on your local ballot before the November election arrives in a little more than 30 days.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Madison Carmouche. We're coming up on 5 o'clock this Thursday morning, and we're almost there. It's almost Friday, but let's send it over to meteorologist Tim Drawbridge for a look at your forecast.
The infamous Thursday Eve, right, Madison? Well, obviously, if you've looked outside already this morning, you know the fog is hanging thick. It's hanging tough. It's going to do so for the next several hours. Dense fog advisories in effect for pretty much all of eastern and southern Kentucky until 10 o'clock this morning. And the visibilities, they're running low. A lot of us with reports less than a mile across the eastern half of the Commonwealth. Temps not bad. As we promised yesterday, things slowly improved. Got a little sunshine late in the day. The air dried out to a point. It feels comfortable this morning, minus a little moisture with the fog. Upper 50s, lower 60s for a lot of us. Nothing going on, minus some cloud cover issues over toward the I-81 corridor. Broaden the view out. Guess what? That secondary boundaries rolled on through and high pressure taking over, being able to provide a nice day and a nice most of the day for Friday. Got to get some more caffeine going. Anyhow, slow to go this morning. Beautiful afternoon, feeling very pleasant and a high 79. More about the ARH First Alert 7-day forecast coming up in this 5 o'clock hour. Madison?
All right, Tim, thank you. The names of 11 fallen firefighters are now etched in a memorial that honors Kentucky firefighters who have given their lives in the line of duty. At the annual memorial service in Juniper Park in Frankfort last night, city officials and Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman honored those firefighters. Among those recognized, Joseph Back from the Whitesburg Fire Department, Geneva Salyer from the Red Bush Fire Department, and Greg Van Hoos with the W.R. Castle Fire Department. Yesterday marked the 23rd year of the ceremony. Thousands of volunteers, including more than 12 from Kentucky's American Red Cross, are on the ground helping. Mariah Congito talked with one volunteer in Asheville who says no words can fully describe the devastation caused by Helene.
I will say that this will leave a mark on me, like every disaster has.
Misty Thomas with the American Red Cross Kentucky chapter is stationed at their chapter office in Asheville.
It's the reality of seeing it firsthand and then imagining being impacted at the level that the survivors are impacted at.
Thomas has helped in large-scale disasters before, like the 2021 Western Kentucky tornadoes and the 2022 floods in eastern Kentucky.
Every disaster is different, but every disaster leaves a wake of destruction and harm in its way to families and communities. And this is absolutely no different. I think what's different for me in this particular disaster is how widespread it is.
Thomas says they have Red Cross volunteers from Kentucky and Florida as well, helping to alleviate human suffering.
We're making sure that people have a safe place to sleep. We're making sure that people have food, that they have clean water. You know, a lot of the water infrastructure is down. Electricity is starting to come back. But the water infrastructure in some of these areas may be down for a while.
Thomas says on Tuesday they helped a woman get her mother-in-law insulin because her pharmacy isn't accessible right now.
The stories on the ground, they're really hard to hear.
The Red Cross is also helping survivors with mental and spiritual needs as well.
We're here as long as this community needs us to continue to help with that response and immediate relief.
Thomas says they're all full of sorrow as survivors fear the unknown. She says if you feel called to help, there are 3 ways. Make a monetary donation, volunteer, or roll up your sleeves and donate blood.
We know already there have been hundreds of blood drives taken off the books because of the infrastructure being down.
She says the survivors are so appreciative of all the help pouring in.
When we give them a meal, the tears that flow, it's just their immediate needs right now that need to be met. And we're meeting those needs, and it's making a difference.
Mariah Congito, WKYT.
American Red Cross volunteers are also working here in Kentucky to help with the damage here. You can text Helene to 90999 to donate to the Red Cross. Governor Beshear says Kentucky is ready to help its neighbors hit hard by Helene. The state deployed the National Guard, state troopers, and other experts to help. Governor Beshear shared a video on social media calling back to Kentucky's resilience during recent disasters.
We have shown nearly 3 years after the tornadoes, nearly 2.5 years after the floods, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, that we can stand back up and we can rebuild. But in this darkest hour that they're going through, they need to know that we care.
The governor says Kentuckians can help by donating blood and essential items. In London, first responders are collecting supplies at drop-off locations, including the police station, city hall, and fire station. All collected items will be sent to a hospital in Newport, Tennessee. It's one of the last accessible areas before road closings begin. ARH is giving people the chance to help those affected by Helene with a supply and fund drive. You can donate and drop off items at the ARH System Center or in the lobby of any ARH hospital location. You can do that from 8 in the morning until 5 in the evening each day until October 11th. Some of the supplies you can donate are toilet paper, cleaning supplies, and baby items such as formula and diapers. We have additional information about this on our website. With folks in several states still being impacted by Helene, some members with the Lexington Fire Department are lending a hand. Originally, 3 firefighters were called to Florida as a part of Ohio Task Force 1, an urban search and rescue team pulling people from parts of Ohio, Indiana, and Kentucky. But in the aftermath of the storm, the 3 firefighters have been relocated to North Carolina.
They're out doing damage assessment and then wide area search, looking for people that might still be trapped, whether it's in buildings that have collapsed, or, as we know in North Carolina, a lot of the buildings are just completely gone. They're non-existent. Whole towns have been washed away.
The Salvation Army Emergency Disaster Service teams are also helping people affected by Helene. Donations will go toward food, water, and long-term recovery services for survivors. The nation's November 5th election date is quickly approaching, and election officials are urging voters to do their research before the big day. Knott County Clerk Reese Cornett recommends voters take a look at their county's sample ballot so they know exactly what to expect.
He's come off the ballot, but they still put him on. So if they vote for Robert Kennedy, it won't count. We will count the votes, but it doesn't count. So that's going to take away from someone.
The last day to register to vote is November. The last day to register to vote in the November 5th election is this Monday, October 7th. A federal appeals court in Washington, D.C. has given the go-ahead for a prediction market to offer election betting. The move Wednesday denies a government watchdog's request to halt a ruling that made way for legal political gambling in the United States. Kalshi is an online platform where users can bet on the outcome of future events. It relaunched its congressional control contracts only a few hours after the ruling. The platform lets Americans bet on which party will control the House and Senate in 2025. The governor and first lady are vaccinated against the flu and COVID. Governor Beshear posted these pictures to social media of him and First Lady Brittany Beshear getting the latest shots. The governor urged folks to schedule appointments this month. Thanks for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. Still to come, saying goodbye to technology and hello to old-fashioned conversation. That's what one phone-free club overseas is looking for.
Old-fashioned conversation? Nah. Hey, we got some old-fashioned fog. It could be pea soup thick in a number of locations this morning. We'll talk about the dense fog advisory and, well, hey, the weekend is in view. The ARH First Alert 7-day forecast is coming up right after this.